No,
I think I might be the only. I think
Stop.
I might be the.
This is Auto Collabs.
Stop.
I think I might be the only one in this upcoming interview that isn't in my own house. Because Nick's got a stupid cool office studio, and every time we see it, I get jealous. And you guys are in your house and you have all your guitars.
Yeah, but you have an office coffee maker that makes coffee like, you need a college education to make.
No, you don't.
And
no,
you have wall art that's very motivational, and I have no wall art that motivates.
No, the wall opposite of me never gets seen, so nobody ever need to put anything up there.
True. Actually, fun fact, little people know this, but there is a couch bed on the opposite side of Kyle's office desk right now, and I've slept on that couch bed before.
Is it really? That's not where my brain was going, because like if it's anything like my home office, it is where the Costco overstock gets dropped. It is like, so I'm picturing just boxes of diaper wipes.
He's
in Kyle's office right now.
Literally, that was going to be the item that I mentioned.
He said diaper wipes.
Diaper wipes.
Hey,
Well, we hope
that
we're probably not going to talk about diaper wipes. We're going to hopefully sound a little smarter than we have to start this one in this podcast. But it's always a thrill and a great hang with Nick Askew. We hope you enjoy this conversation today. Nick, we're excited to be hanging out with you again, man. The real question is, when does the album drop? That's what we're all here to find out.
I showed up for the live performance, personally.
I mean, so if you search maybe YouTube or even Spotify, you can find some older things. But I will drop an album when I stop working on software. How's that?
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
We just watched the beginning and the end of that music career.
That's great. I want to ask you, because we've had a lot of conversations around AI. You've been pressing the boundaries when it comes to AI, and then you've been on stage talking about it as well. I want to know, like, personally, what's the most fun you've had creating or working with AI recently, like with some of the new tools or things that are coming out? Because I'm sure you're out there tinkering. What are you tinkering with right now?
Oh, God. I'm not sure if I can say.
Oh, no.
No, not safe work. No, I'm just kidding. No, so I have actually created a full company that was just an experiment. And it's a company that creates other companies. And within inside this, it has agents that are product managers. And the reason that I can't say this is because like I'm charging for software development through it. So it's like the agentic software project managers, agentic QA managers, agentic engineers, project management and communication. But also the most fun that I've had with that is I've got also an agentic salesperson and support that can have a video chat like you and me and learn from
Are you
our
even
entire.
talking about?
I'll send you a link to it. I'll send you a link. It's actually live right now. You can throw your app ideas and it will walk you through how to actually build the software and in real time. So it's like a first pass at building a
agentic vibe coding. Not just vibe coding, agentic vibe coding.
Agentic vibe coding, but with a real person you can talk to. And she has, I named Amina after my golden retriever because it was like the only name that I could use and my wife not get mad and be like, ooh, who's Olivia?
Right.
So I named her after my golden retriever. But what's really cool is she's got vision as well. So you can ask her like, how many fingers am I holding up? Like, what's the vibe in the room right now? Like, she can analyze all of those things and analyze your body language. It's not just LLM text to speech.
Look at the smile on Mount Sear's face right now. You don't know this, Nick, but he's texting his wife saying that July 4th is canceled tomorrow.
I'm just thinking of what I would ask Amina. I would be like, what song is Nick most likely to play based on what you can see about him right now?
Oh, so no.
He's like
The
mentioning that.
craziest thing- Okay, so I've also got this webhook. If someone mentions my name in it, it sends me a ping. So at 10:30 last night, my content director was on it using it, and he said, "Well, what's the best way to get a hold of Nick?" And I joined the call with the AI.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. He
I was
probably
like, "What's
just
up, man?"
dropped right out.
He was asking like, "How quickly could I get Nick on the phone?" I was like, "How's right now?"
That's my mind is blown. I don't
See,
think
look,
I can
and see,
continue on
this is
episode.
why we can't have nice things, Nick. This
Yeah.
is why people can't have nice things, because people out there like you, just on your side gig, making software that makes software and knows what's going on in your room.
Yeah, no, but you know what? I think that's I want to be a mad. That's my childhood dream, is to be a mad scientist, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that it's when you can build things without the expectation of it being revenue generating, and you're just doing it for the love of doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's when the
Well,
best.
I've been doing the same. Okay, see, this is why I'm making that sly smile, and Michael knows, is because this has been my new favorite thing. Like really
I'm
not
just gonna see myself out.
I'm curious to the point right now that everything that I do doesn't need to have a business result. It's you have to be so filled with curiosity, because in order to understand what vibe coding does, or how far it can go, or like what things you can integrate and take over and understand about the world and the way that data really interacts. That's what I'm so curious about. Like, how far can we go with the data connectivity, so that like data is just a baseline to our experience over it, and that like all of that starts to make itself so quick. Paul was telling me earlier today that these people put together like 50 agentic top doctorate researchers that all knew specific fields and were able to solve like to an 80% efficiency
2,000
diagnosis.
2,000 of the hardest, most rare diagnoses that human doctors were only able to solve 20% of them. And that was the same basically level that the first AI was able to accomplish, until they broke them all out and made a bunch of agent specialists that could confer with one another and hypothesize different ideas based on their specialties, and then they solved 80% of them.
And there's no cure for
Microsoft
cancer,
one?
right?
Does Microsoft? I think
tinfoil.
Microsoft do that. It did 4 times the rate that the US standard of diagnosis was. That's just wild.
That's it.
Well,
4
I mean,
times.
look at like Microsoft just laid off another 9,000 people. That brings them up to 15,000 this year, citing that AI is the big disruptor there. I mean, what's your take on that? It sounds like we're starting to see that. If software can make software and coach someone, what do you think? What's happening? Is this the beginning of the Matrix? Is this the beginning of Skynet? Is this where's the world end up in the next 18 months?
Well, it's a white collar revolution, right? And that's what has happened. We've seen it time and time again, where industries get turned on their heads. This is the first time that computing has been able to make logical decisions based on unstructured data. So, yeah, is it going to affect and is it going to change things? Yes, but you still need these industry experts to understand. You go take Kyle's talking about vibe coding, right? It's like finding the limits of vibe coding. Someone that doesn't understand how infrastructure and software works can only get so far by saying, build me an app that does this.
Right.
Right. what you find now, and it's an unfortunate truth, is like there's certain parts of software engineering that aren't really needed anymore. Like let's take lower end front end developers.
Front end development for sure. It's
Just-
all going to be
just-
ETL.
just
It's all going to
done.
be database syncing, data management, like front end. It's like as long as you have a library, plug it in and done, right?
You plug it in and done. So these particular jobs where you actually needed people to go and write code are going to be the first to go. The jobs that you can automate and create, you're just having people do kind of menial jobs, and it's unfortunate, but it just means the landscape's changed. It always gets replaced by something else,
Right.
right?
Always has.
What ends up happening with evolution of business is like when we automated production lines in the 70s, what did that do for the car business? It was like, well, we weren't having people hand press doors anymore. Like now it's done on an automated production line with a swinging arm, and mechanics for those things, and you need engineers for those, to make them better, and you need, all these.
Well, it kind of. I think that's not just the only limitation of it, because that argument, like people were saying with AI and things like that, yeah, but it's never replaced thinking, right? It's never like the stamping of the doors replaced a manual thing, right? But coding replaces like someone have to critically think about something, right? It's not like I'm just pulling a lever, right? With the robotics replace the pulling the lever. I think that every time though, something has been replaced, and you can go the pen and paper, you can go typewriters, right? You can go computers, typewriters, and then you can go autocorrect and all these things. Every time, I believe that humans are incredibly adaptable, and it allows us to figure out the next thing to do. Right. I don't think it's as clear, because like if you go at your door stamping and mechanics to fix and process and all that stuff, there's not nearly as many people needed to maintain the stuff as there was to actually do the task. Right. If that was the case, we wouldn't have gained any efficiency. And I think that these tools, these AI tools, are allowing us to think in a totally different way, which is an upending in more ways than just a task, because it's like, I don't know, I've heard a zillion things. It's called the post whatever economy, like you called it the white collar. What'd you call it? The white collar
revolution.
White collar
band
revolution,
name, by the way.
White collar revolution. That is such a great band name.
Golly,
that's amazing.
Write that one down.
Name.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, but I think it's allowing us to think in a different way, which is why I think entrepreneurial minds and teaching kids the entrepreneurial skill and us being able to flex entrepreneurially is really the only survival mechanism for anyone that's got a job that will soon be replaced by AI.
You're so right.
You're absolutely right. And yes, those jobs might not be individually replaced one for one, but it allows us to be more productive. It allows us to create things it allows us to create more with less resources, which overall increases productivity around.
We can recreate more things, right? How many companies did you just create?
I don't know. It's up in the air right now.
It's creating companies as we speak, is what he's trying to tell you.
But what that ends up doing is freeing up space for us for those people to go and adapt. And I love what you said about humans just being, adaptive. We want to survive. We want to learn and grow and survive. And we're so resilient. And as things change and as jobs change, it's our duty, not just as entrepreneurs, but as leaders with people in our companies, to help them get there as well, to not just go, all right, we're going to replace them. Yeah, there are going to be some casualties in major organizations like that. But if you can leverage that inside a company and go, all right, how do we empower everybody, even on an entry level jobs or mid-level jobs, to be not just like content writers, but all right, now I'm going to teach you and upskill you to learn Zapier and understand how to make mini agents and do things like that. I mean, that's just our responsibility as leaders to help uplift the people around us, rather than just get going, hey, cool, now I can replace you, not have to pay your salary. It's like we can do more with less.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it from a rudimentary level, like anybody that wants to grow in an organization should be in the process of firing themselves from the thing they're doing today.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not growing, then you're dying, in my opinion. You know what I'm really not ready for, guys? I'm not ready for the number of people that are going to be adding the term AI consultant to their professional profiles.
Ready or not, it's already there, bro.
Oh, it happened.
I can just imagine Clubhouse right now.
Oh,
Millionaire,
the
the millionaire AI consultant.
yes.
Hey, hold on.
Nick.
So, like, for the everyone else that's listening to this, Kyle, what the heck is ETL?
Hold on, let me
Basic-
guess. Elephants, tigers, and lions.
You're exactly right, Paul.
I knew it.
I mean,
That's
because it came out of both of you so naturally, and I'm like, hold on. If I wrote ETL down, someone
Well,
else.
if you
is
didn't
writing
say
down.
that, Michael, if you didn't say that, I would have just assumed you knew too.
Yeah, so it's basically a data process. It stands for extract, transform, load, right?
I like mine better.
So
yeah.
the idea is we get this data from here and we land it here, right?
Got it.
Okay.
But in the middle, there's a transformation layer.
Okay,
Right.
so this is I'm glad I asked, because this kind of ties to something you were saying, Nick. I want you to kind of expound on, which is it's not as like we talk about this because I would say we're probably all early adopters in some way, shape, or form. Some more advanced than others, but and by that I mean Kyle and Nick more advanced than Paul and Michael. But
I'll bring up the rear. I'm fine. I'm the
barrier
caboose
to-
on this train.
like anybody can go to chat.openai.whatever, and we can type around and we can feel smart and we can feel special. But to talk about what you're saying, that this transformation, this revolution, there is a barrier to entry. There is a level of understanding. And Kyle brought this up in a conversation the other day. It's like, it's not just going to make us stupid. It actually requires a deep level of critical thinking in order to architect what we even want it to do and how all of the infrastructure fits together. So tell me about that. I mean, you said, "Oh, I'm building a AI that's building companies and it's all agentic and it's this and that." I mean, there's more to it than that. There's somebody out there right now thinking they can just build this. I assume it's not that easy.
No, it's not, because you've got a layering of agents in the right architecture to begin with, right? You can't just you what AI does, it's logic and reason that mimics human thought, right? And
Mhm.
you still have to follow certain paths. It gets stuff wrong like humans do, right? Some of my best engineers write code wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have failed builds, and then we have QA people that go, "Oh, you should have built that a different way." You have to architect things. You talk about, the ETL, extract, transform, load, into like a data warehouse. It's like you can't, your average person. Yeah, you can go to the Chat GPT and ask, a couple of questions. But if I'm trying to build an app that does something and does something valuable, like I've got to think about authentication, I've got to think about security, I've got to think about transactions, I've got to think about communication, I've got to think, like, there's all of these things that you actually have to have a valid knowledge of as an engineer to be able to actually achieve those things.
Yep.
Otherwise it's just a pipe dream, and you're gonna hit a barrier. You might be able to create some fun front end stuff, but it's not gonna work. And then when things go wrong, you don't have the know-how or the resources to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
So you run up against a brick wall and you're
Or
like,
write the tests or the end-to-end logic or all of that stuff to validate that it's not failing when you're sleeping, all of those things,
so
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool, but it does require you to be an expert in software engineering
Yes.
in order
Yep.
to do something valuable with it. But
Well, I think it's broadening the gap between experts and novice, right? Actually, that's what's going to happen. And so the focus on being an expert is going to be all that more critical. It's like, what does it take to run to work in that same plant that stamps those doors, right? Before it was like swing the thing over, line it up, drop the stamp, right? that was a job there. Now, I mean, my buddy runs some welding tech at a supplier for Nissan and Stellantis, and he's like so super technical, and he's working on AI and how it looks at weld spots and can determine whether or not they're meeting a certain coefficient of perfection to make sure that they like. That's his level of technical, so you just widen the gap between novice and
but
expert.
he has that genius level knowledge
Yep.
of what it takes to achieve that perfect weld, right?
Yep, exactly.
And then can utilize the tools to create an even better process. So it is widen the gap.
All
I
right.
will say,
well, bring it around. I want you to bring it around because obviously we all work within auto. You're building tech in auto that's allowing people to leverage their brain space in different ways. How are you like injecting all of this external personality, this experimental, like tinker on the side type thing that you're doing into the tech that you're building, and imagining how people around that tech are operating in this same new way?
yeah, I think it's something that you have to bridge the gap for, because there's two things that you have to think about. It's one, what the dealers are used to in their current workflows today, and also consumer adoption. So I firmly believe in creating any good agentic or AI system. You have to have all the data in one place to be able to make solid decisions. And the reason why I think that is, a couple of years ago when, ChatGPT was just booming everywhere on the news. Everyone was like wanted to be the first person to come up with an AI chatbot powered by ChatGPT. So they threw it.
Was that
on
a couple of years? Was that a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was November 2023. And
Yep.
when they did, what did it have access to? Oh, your website data and your inventory. So it could ask questions about that and take care of that. So then I started thinking about and Kyle, we've had discussions about this before. Is my whole purpose of trying to unify automotive is that the website, your digital retail, your CRM, how you communicate with a customer, the conversations that you have, recorded phone calls, summaries, all of these things should live in one centralized data warehouse. Because if you're on my website and an AI is taking over, but then you call me and you're like, actually, scratch that, I really like the Corvette now. And then your AI is taking over and it's like, oh, I still see you were interested in the Tahoe. It's missing a very solid data point. So what I'm trying to do is bridge the gap between the UI that in the user experience that the dealer interfaces with and the customer interfaces with, collect all that data together so we can build AI tools that are helpful because they have the knowledge of every single data point throughout the customer and dealer journey.
Yep. Yeah, I think that if you've used any sort of LLM, doesn't matter, Claude, Gemini, GPT, anything, you start to realize when you use it more and more that the collection of context speeds the efficiency of the result, right? So you can ask it, write me a marketing plan for my dealership, and the results are wildly different if you add a brand guide, recent messaging, context about your org chart, all of these things, and then ask it that one question versus just going in to a blank profile and saying, write me a marketing plan about my dealership, right? So the added context of all of these data inputs and having a home base for that, I think is so key. I think that's why people are kind of obsessed over the term CDP or having a single stop shop for all of my data in a repository in a warehouse. I love how you say like connecting the consumer and the dealer at a data level, being super important. So I hear you. You're building it. It's great.
Well,
Yeah.
Amazing.
guys,
I-
I
Where
don't
we-
know what to do from now.
Nick, say what you're gonna say, and then I gotta shut this down because my brain's starting to ooze out of my ear.
Onto his new Meta Ray-Bans. He doesn't want to ruin them.
Yeah. You've got all the context from this conversation anyway to replay back.
I've telepathically asked. I've got John Cena in my ear. That's the voice of the Meta AI. And I've telepathically been asking him questions the whole time, and he's. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
This got weird.
Okay, well,
My
listen,
voice chose to whisper seductively. I'm assuming seductively in your ear.
I wanted to play a prank yesterday on Paul and Kyle, and so I told it that when I ask who Paul J. Daly is, that it would reply with, "Isn't that the guy who likes stickers?" And
That would have been amazing, and
That
it
would've
totally
been so
failed.
good. I wish you would have done that.
I know, I did it like 3 times, and then when I actually asked it, it was like, Paul J. Daly is a serial entrepreneur. And I was like, get out of here.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Anyways, Nick,
He was
man,
like, no,
you are...
Paul's like, let them speak. Let's
Yeah.
They're very smart.
they
They know everything.
I was just gonna say, so I just got back from NIADA. I was asked to speak there, which is it was a great time, and it was a good honor just because me being younger in the industry and being asked to speak in Vegas in a very large crowd was cool. And I decided to do something that I don't usually do because I'm an engineer and I have this really hard problem that I'm trying to solve with myself, is that I try and speak like an engineer even when I'm speaking to dealers, and then they spend the entire conversation going, "Oh, the hell am I supposed to do with AI now?" Like, cool, you've just talked about all the things that it can do. Like, what am I supposed to do? So my session was about just taking, like, if you've never been in ChatGPT before, like, what can you do as a GM? And I think in the essence of that, what it really made me feel and understand was there are so many people still in this industry that rely on vendors, and I'm one of them, right? That rely on vendors to tell them what the AI can do. And if you actually go and get yourself a $20 a month account so you can have your private data in there, remove some of your PII, put your CRM data, your inventory data, your org chart, your financials, whatever you want in there, and start asking questions about how to strategize and layer all that context on itself, you can have the power for $20 a month rather than waiting for some vendor to come and solve the problem for you.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I am telling you that you as a GM are your own CDP. You just have to go and use that data without purchasing.
My man landed the plane. Come on.
Dude, that's amazing. You are an innovator, and we love talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and making me all sorts of curious. I got pages of notes. Dude, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on Auto Collabs.
So that is the face I make when I realize I'm way further behind than I realized.
Dude, you were...
Yeah. I mean, this is what I think that this is important.
Business.
Right? This is super important to anyone looking at tech, thinking about developing tech, thinking about using tech, is that the level of scrutiny that you're going to have moving forward is going to be so much higher. And here's why. Because anybody can go to one of probably 15 tools right now and vibe code, quote unquote, an app, right? And they can probably set up some neat things, and they can maybe like make it look like everything is working as intended. But his point about this and my thing with like excellence versus novice, you can't do some of these things, especially when it comes to personal private information, data security, authentication layers, all of that type of stuff, without having significant knowledge of the issues if you don't set that stuff up well, especially when AIs are out there being created to crawl and get into some of this stuff. And so I think that the scrutiny level on what tech you use, who you're using, what their data security, how they've built their tech is going to have to be at an all-time high. So that means if you're not trying to use it on your own and understanding how it works, then you're definitely going to get left in the dust.
You know what stood out to me? And I got pages of notes, guys, like pages. What stood out to me is that there's OEM 20 groups still talking about bounce rate. Like, people are still coming away from knowledge sessions. And what I love about this is I took so many notes because I think for me, it's kind of like an honor, a privilege to sit here and get to be the first student, And I think that's actually the title we should be striving for in this industry, because there are things in here, even a guy that owns a tech company. I'm not an engineer. I'm a sales guy. But to sit here humbly and listen and take notes, that's okay. We need to be doing more of that because I think Nick made the point. You made the point too, Kyle. It's like, you need to be exposed to this. It needs to cascade over you. You need to know where things are headed. And to his point, even if where you start is a $20 ChatGPT account, to just start playing around, that's better than being, you remember back in the day when advertising largely went from print and traditional to digital, and there were people that hung on for so long with their fluorescent yellow toaster board saying, we've got a sale in the balloons and the wacky wavy inflatable flailing arm tube guy. And it was like, just start.
Well, the problem is that when that happened, and eventually when they were boxed into a corner where they had to, they were so far behind. And like they had to start at ground zero. When if they were even just curious or reading a little bit or understanding, even if they still had the fluorescent sign, the wacky guy, they could start to understand the language, the vernacular, the platforms, the strategies. And that's why I read like 7 AI emails every day. By the way, we have one, autoindustry.ai. But that's why I read 7 a day, because I even though I can't apply most of it, it actually just keeps it in my head.
That's right.
All right. Well, I think we've done enough damage for today. My brain hurts. On behalf of Comments here, Michael Cirillo, and myself, thank you for joining us on Auto Collabs.
Welcome to Auto Collabs.
Why are we recording?
Are we rolling yet?